Hey, hi everybody, I'm Arrigo Martelli, welcome to my home studio. In today's video, I'm happy to present a short lesson on a solo played by Danny Gatton, a great American guitarist, in a song written by country great Roger Miller. The song is called England Swings, and basically how this all started is I was reading this book. It's a great book called Unfinished Business, The Life and Times of Danny Gatton by Ralph Haybutsky. I hope I'm saying this right. Anyway, I was reading one of the chapters where the author talks about the early 80s, and they describe the experience, music experience Danny had playing with rockabilly artist Robert Gordon, and later on with country great Roger Miller. So basically I was reading this and then I found out that there's a videotape of Miller's performance on the Austin City Limits TV concert show. And they say Danny was featured fairly prominently and even got to solo on 3 songs. The most notable moment occurs on Miller's England Swings, which Danny gooses up with the ringing rockabilly tanked solo. And they go on with more information about it. So I was very surprised when I looked the song up on YouTube, and I found not only the original song by Roger Miller, but also the exact performance that they are describing about here. So there's a couple videos from that 1983 Austin City Limits show where you can see actually Danny playing with Roger Miller's band. So it's very interesting. I really encourage you to check them out if you haven't, and especially if you're not familiar with Danny's music. So I just watched the England Swings performance, and I thought it was really cool. It's a cool song, and there's a short solo, which is much easier compared to the typical kind of guitar solo, which can be very technical and very demanding. The kind of music played by Danny Gatton. So I thought it was really cool. It was a good way, easy way to approach his music, and especially for those guitarists who are not that familiar with him. So I watched the video. I transcribed the entire solo, and I thought I might do a lesson on this. So here we go. So hopefully you will find this useful and not only learn how to play this nice solo, but also get interested in Danny's music and check out all his recordings and his great guitar work. So without any further ado, here it is, England Swings. Okay, so the guitar solo follows the same chord sequence as in the chorus. We have we're in the key of D major, obviously, and we have a 1 chord, it goes to a 5, which is A in the key of D, back to 1, 4, which is a G chord, back to 1, 5, 1, and it's just 8 bars long, so it's not a long solo by any means. It's got some melodic ideas, as well as some definite country flavor to it. We have some bendy stuff, we have oblique bends, and that we'll check out just in a minute. So, excuse me, let's get started with the first 2 bars actually. So we start on a 5th string with a slide to the open string. So I mean, from I'd say roughly the 2nd fret, at least this is how it sounds to me. So from the B note, 2nd fret on the 5th string, we slide rather quickly to the open string. So essentially, it's a grace note. You could play it if you wanted as a pull off, but it just doesn't sound as good. I think I like it better this way. So I'm playing on a B note, but I'm just quickly sliding downward to the open string. So the actual note that I want to play is the A note, whereas B, or any note you start from, you could start a little bit higher if you wanted, but I think it's a B note. It's just a grace note, and this is the first phrase that Danny plays. I'll go a little bit slower than the actual tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So D major. What I did was okay. So the open string A with a downward slide, and then B on the 5th string, so fret number 2, 4th string open, 2 on the 4th string, slide from 2 to 4 on the same D string, 2nd fret on the G string, and then I have a pull off, which is 3, 2, 0 on the D string, and I finish off with an A. This is just the first bar. So let me show it again. Start with a slide. So again, A, B, D, E. So as you notice, I slide from the 2nd fret to the 4th, A on the 3rd string, and then pull off F, E, D, 3, 2, 0, finishing off with the 5th string open. And then I go to the D string, fret number 2, so where I play the E note, and then there's a little double stop, 2nd fret on both the D string and G string. So you can see the second time. So I first played just the 4th string with the E note by itself. Then I add the A note on the G string, and then I do the same thing but with the grace note on the D string from fret number 2 to 4. It's a quick hammer-on. Which is E, E, F sharp. This is the first line, it's the first line in the transcription that you will find, but it's the first short phrase that the solo is made of. So one more time, and then we'll take a look at the second phrase. We have 4 phrases altogether, basically. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's take a look at the second phrase. It starts the same way, exactly the same way, just one octave higher. So we have the same idea. Then he started here on the 5th string by playing this quick slide, and it does the same thing, only on the 4th string from fret, I'd say 9 to fret 5, which is the same note, just obviously 1 octave higher. And this is what he plays. So let's check it out, note by note. I I slide from 9 to 7 real quick. It's a grace note, so it's very quick. And then I play 9 on the D string, 7 on the G string, back to 9 on the D string. Here comes another grace note from 9 to 11 on the G string. And then followed by 10, 12, 10 on the B string. And finally we have 12, a bending, a whole step higher from the same 12th fret. And then I go back on fret number 10, which is an A note. Okay, let me show you this phrase again. So 7th fret, 9, 7 on the G string, 9 on the D string, 9 to 11 real quick on the G string, 10, 12, 10 we're on the B string, 12, 12 bending a whole step higher, and then I go back to the 10th fret. So let's see how these two phrases sound when put together. We're still going a little bit slower than the actual tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. All right. So this is the first half of the solo. Let's see what's up next. We start on the G string with a whole step bend on the 12th fret, and then we do this. Okay, so let's break this down. Whole step bend on the G string, fret number 12. And then I go to the 10th fret, which is, by the way, the same note that we just bent, on the B string. So 10, 12, 10, 10 on the E string, 10 on the B string, 12, 10. This is measure number 5. Yeah, number 5. So. And I think there's a pull off that I just played between B and A in the first part of the measure. Let me show it again. Here we go. This is a pull off. It's not. It sounds to me like there is a pull off. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it works and sounds like that on the YouTube video. Okay, so this one is not hard. Basically, it's A, A, B, A, D, A, B, A. Okay, here's a double stop bend. I don't know if I think we can call it like that. Basically, we are bending two notes. This major, or actually, it's a minor third. This minor third interval on fret 9 G string, 8 B string, and we bend it a half step high, and then we release, and then we bend it, and then we release. But actually, I think we're starting with a pre-bend. So once you do, okay, you go here, 9, 8, you pre-bend a half step higher, you pick and then release. Bend again, release, bend again, release. So it's three times I think altogether. Right. So the whole phrase. starting from the end of measure number 4 and playing measure number 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and just the last 2 final bars. Here there's an oblique bend, so it means we are picking a note on a string and we are bending a note on a different string and letting both sound throughout. So we are on fret number 8 of the first string and then fret number 10 on the second string. The thing is, we pick this note. Didn't sound that good. It's actually a whole step, so I have to pre-bend here as if I were playing this note, a B note, and then I release it and make sure that both strings can, keep sounding. Very nice. So. And then I have a whole step here, also bend on fret number 9, G string, and then I go to the 7th fret. 9, 7, open string on the D string, and it's a pull off. So, like we said, we have the oblique bend. Right, and then the final bar, 3, 2, 0 on the same D string with a pull off. So I just pull off these 3 notes, go to the A string for number 3, and I bend it a whole step. Yeah, it's a full bend, so a whole step higher from C. Oop, too much. From C to D. And then I play D on the open string. So the D string. Okay, so this is probably the technically the hardest part, because you might have to practice this if you're not used to playing in a country style, or I mean, if you're not used to pre-bends and things like that. And in country music, you may not know that the guitar, especially when playing, all this bendy stuff, you are trying to emulate a pedal steel. So this is not what could we say? This is not a bluesy bend. This has to be accurate, and you want to reach the target pitch. And try not to be either flat or sharp. So you might have to practice this a little bit, but it sounds cool. So 9, 7, where I bend a whole step higher here, and then 9, 7, 0, and then 3 to 0. With this bend on the third fret, A string. Alright, and that's the solo. It's short, it's just 8 bars, but I think it's a nice introduction to the guitar playing of Danny Gatton, and probably one of the easier ways you can get into his music if you're not familiar with him. I'll just try to play the whole thing. A little bit on the slow side, and that will be it for our lesson today. So the whole England Swings solo as played on the Austin City Limits 1983, I think. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Hope you'll enjoy it, and take care. Until the next time.